What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing out there? Well, have you seen in the last video, I have finalized the elevation for the Cumberland Mine Railroad. So it's time once again for a new update on the Glenmont Valley Railroad HO scale layout above the garage. And I have been collecting HO scale stuff for many years. I don't know, 5, 6, 7. Once I knew I was going to do something above the garage, I started collecting some things along the way. And I almost made a mistake on the next update on you're about to see. It's time to punch through the wall to build the section in the back above the racetrack for the coal mine to switch out empty and loaded trains. And I'm so glad I dug some of this stuff out, or I'd have made a big mistake, because there is no plan to my layout other than I know things I want on it, but there's no track plan. So I'm just building bench work and doing things as I go. So, yeah, almost made a mistake. If I didn't do this first, take a look. I'll show you. As I just mentioned, I've been collecting HO scale stuff for many years now. Probably about 5. When I knew I was going to do something of a layout for HO. Now I got to dig through this stuff and find what I need to plan the next stage. Let me get after it. There we go. I dug through the pile and found what I needed. Now these are Walther's Trinity RD4 cars, just like Dave's. And I'll be using the Kato SD38-2s. And I'm going to use Pico turnouts for these. So I'm glad I found them, because I need to set up kind of a train to see how long of a siding I'm going to need to fit it all in. And all that's going to go right there. So I need to see the lengths I'm going to need. So let me get this cleaned off and I'll lay down some cardboard and see what's up. Oh, I am so glad I dug them out to check measurements. The idea was that 2 coal trains would be staged in this area. 1 full, 1 empty. And Dave runs about 32 cars, I believe. Could be wrong on that. So I was going to cut it in half and just only run 15 cars. But I need an engine at each end. So to have room for the switch, when they stop and switch out, I would need the gap for the train to go by without hitting each other. So I wanted to use 28-inch radiuses right here. So to get that, because as you know, this is going to be elevated, so it's going to come up close to this roof line. So to bring it out to where it would clear the roof, 28s would put me clear back in here, so that abolishes that switch. So I tested a 24-inch radius. Now it brings me to the end here. Same distance from the roof. But as you can see, it makes me 3 cars and 1 loco shy. So I'm glad I didn't go ahead and just cut and put down all this wood to find out that it would not fit. So I'm very happy I checked all this. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick with the 28s. That way I got a nice radius. Because if none of this works out and the coal mine has to go away, I'll use this for regular trains. And the 28-inch radius for longer cars would be very nice. So what I think I'll do is I'll put this switches, the turnouts, right in this straight area and break the track here. Same with this side over here. Put the switcher turnout on this straight piece and have it separate the track there. I will have plenty of room to fit a 2 loco 15 car train in this space for switching out loaded and empty. Okay, with a full train built, you see it hits that curve. This is with a 28-inch radius. Pushes me back. I can put the turnout or switch in this location on a straight, because it comes through the wall about right there. So I'm going to have slightly curve it back towards the wall to hit this switch. Then I can double track it from there. That'll leave me enough room for switching out. As you can see, this one's based on a 24, so that shows the 24 will also fit. I'd rather do a 28 since I'm pushing pulling, which you show how far down it goes. Same type of deal. Switch will fall somewhere in here on the straight piece because it will have to curve. The opening has to go about right there due to studs and the way this ceiling is angled. So overall, with 2 locos and 15 Trinity hoppers, that is an 11-foot train. That's quite the beast. Well, first thing I'm going to have to do is get through both walls. And as you can see, I got some road bed, I got some track. This first line is one of the coal cars. The second line is the locomotive. This third line is an auto rack. So I wanted to go as tall as possible. That's from the rail. So that line right there is 3.5 inches from the top of the rail. That's plenty enough space past the auto rack car for sure. And from the road bed or the plywood up is close to 4 inches, just under. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way to that 3.5 inch line, just in case I need to do something later or fit my hand through. I didn't want to go too wide, but I definitely want enough clearance on each side, just in case I do something weird through there. But I didn't want to cut the hole way too big, seeing how the racetrack's on the other side. So that's going to be my measurement, 3.5 inches off the top of the rail. Well, there's the first cut, first hole. And I got through this one, like I said, just drywall in this section. So problem is, this side's drywall. And as you can see, this side is smart side paneling. These sections here were originally an exterior wall when I first started building this garage. So this was exterior. And that's the other reason you see the insulation inside the wall. This was the exterior wall. So when I was partway done, the garage is 36 feet long end to end. So I had this 8-foot section. Instead of doing another roof down, I decided to turn this into a spare room. Same with the other side on down those steps there. That's why there's smart side on the other side of that door. That explains why that is smart side, not drywall. Why this room is totally different on each end of the building. So now I just got to get through that. So I'm going to have to get my jigsaw out for this one. Oh, looky there. There it is. I can see the other room. The holes aren't perfect, but I'll make do. So I'll probably put a piece of wood inside there to block everything off, keep the insulation from getting into the track or the wheels or anything like that. But that is for another day. I'm just glad this task was over. I found out what this measurement was going to be. And so glad I did to find that the switch needs to go back in here. Until we do something else. Real quick, I had enough scraps to go ahead and finish off the inside of these tunnel portals. Yeah, definitely shows how far off I was on the other side of the hole. I can always correct that, but I don't think it's going to matter. This will be covered up by the plywood from the layout, so that's why I didn't put one down in there. So there you go. Did both sides. Oh, I'm so glad I dug some of my train stuff out that I had buried. If I didn't lay out some cars and some locos and take measurements, I would have just built back there, and then it would have been way too late, and I had to tear everything back down and start over. So sometimes planning is a good idea. Most times planning is a good idea, but I'm always one of shooting from the hip and just going for things, and sometimes that is a mistake. So lesson learned, maybe some planning from here on out, because I do have a couple other areas that I do need to really take a look at. I hope you guys enjoyed this layout update, but before we go, I always try to give a shout out. And this time it was from Bob from BNSF CSX Bob, and he had bought me a coffee. Really appreciate that, Bob. Thanks for the support. And Bob also chose to support me in another way. Now, you guys know I have memberships, which gives you previews to videos before I put them out to public. It helps support the channel along the way. And I also do shout outs on occasion throughout the year for my channel members. But Bob had joined my membership, so thank you again, Bob. I really appreciate both supports. It is fantastic. So make sure you guys go into the description, click on Bob's link to his channel. He does some rail fanning videos and he does a great job at it. He gets some things that I'd like to go check out myself. So he's also inspiring me to go to a couple different locations that he's been to. Plus, it was fantastic with the meet and greet we had with the Stormy Crew and the Trackside Mike from Canada up in Deschler, Ohio in September. I got to meet Bob face to face and we had a great time chit-chatting. It was a great time. It was really nice meeting Bob. So once again, Bob, appreciate the support, and everybody go into the description and click on Bob's channel and check him out. Give him a like, share, and a subscribe. That'll really help support his channel. He needs his numbers boosted. He's got low subscriber count. So let's get him up there. Let's get him going. I appreciate you guys doing that for him. All right, till the next update. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like, share, subscribe. Don't cost nothing. Hit that button. Pappy out.